All right, I want to talk about why you do not want to drink alcohol when you go out and you socialize, and on the whole, why alcohol is probably just a bad idea in general. Now, I think we can all agree that alcohol is not very good for your body, and I had many years when I drank. In fact, I started drinking in high school, and I drank extremely heavy until I was about 23. And while I did have a lot of nights that were very fun, and some of them I would not take back and I would still do them over again with the alcohol, most of them, when I say most of them, probably 90% or more, it was just a terrible idea. Now, what I used to do is I would have a lot of social anxiety. So when I would drink, I would essentially have all that numbed, and I would just be able to go and talk to all the girls and hook up with them, and I wouldn't be thinking at all. But of course, then the next day, right, when I don't have any alcohol in my system, I haven't really built any actual skills. I've just kind of built this fake facade, this drug-induced or alcohol-induced courage, right? That's what we used to call it, liquid courage. And yeah, you'll get temporary results, but they're not long lasting. And on top of that, for me, the hangover would be horrendous. The whole next day, completely tanked. Wouldn't be able to do anything. Many days would just be spent basically curled up in bed. And maybe I would eat like one meal later in the day, and I really wouldn't be recovered until the following day. So you really be looking at almost like a 48-hour recovery. And for what? For 3 or 4 hours worth of fun, it's just not worth it, right? If you run the numbers, right? If you look at the cost, the cost to reward, it's just totally not worth it. So there's that. But the disservice that you're doing is that you're not building any of those social skills. So that people that when they go out, they feel like they have to have the alcohol in order to socialize. They have to have the alcohol in order to have fun. They have to have it to meet new people. And what you're doing is you're basically conditioning yourself so that you always have to have alcohol. And, it's not a lot of our faults, right? If you look at, how many commercials that you've probably seen in your life for alcohol, it's probably tens of thousands, right? There, anytime you watch sporting events or in anything really on TV that's aimed at adults, you're going to see alcohol commercials, and so you're bombarded with that constantly. And it's like it's just a part of our culture. And why is it such a big part of our culture? Because there's tons of money in it, right? So it's a multi-billion-dollar a year industry, and so in many ways it's not your fault. But anyway, what I would condition you to do is get used to going out and not drinking. And what that's going to do is, instead of basically numbing your brain, it's going to start strengthening your brain. And what you'll find is that as you start to do this, not only do you get really great social skills that you're going to build up, but you actually won't want to drink the alcohol either. And you're actually going to enjoy going out. I remember I got to the point where I would go to a lot of parties, but I wouldn't really be going to the party looking forward to socializing. I would be going to the party looking forward to getting smashed and getting hammered, and that's no good. And then a lot of times I might even just have to be drunk before I even go out, right? Pre-game it, and you're not even drinking at the party, you're arriving there already drunk. And it's just, we all have our time and our place to do that. You want to go out and experience what it's like to get drunk and go to a party, go do it. But just realize that in the long run, that's not going to build any sort of sustainable social skills. You're just using it as a crutch. So if you want to really feel comfortable, you want to really reduce your social anxiety, you want to really be able to build good relationships, then you have to learn how to do it without alcohol. And as a bonus on top, you're going to have a much healthier, happier, more focused body. And, that's pretty much all I have to say on it. Change it so that you can do it. And then, hey, once you've done that, if you want to choose to go out and have a couple of drinks, on the side, that's fine. But you have that deep skill set that you've built from doing it without the alcohol. And that's all I have to say. Hopefully I can turn off this camera. It's real cold outside. I pretty much always film out here, but it's snowing a little bit, if you can see. Windy too. I don't even know if I can turn this off because I have my gloves on, and they're like not those special cell phone gloves. They're just like regular gloves. So we'll see if I can turn this off. But anyway, go out, build your social skills, and do it without alcohol. I'll talk to you guys soon. All right, so the last point that I want to really drive home is I want you to think of yourself as the cause and not the effect. And this is really important. So one example that I'll give is, think of a pool table. You have the pool balls, you have the cue ball, and then you have all the colored balls. Well, I want you to think of yourself as that white cue ball, that ball that's going to be hit and then ricochet and cause the effect of all those other pool balls. And I want you to think about this, and I want you to think about that in your relation to any of your addictions, and today we're talking about alcohol. So I want you to think about yourself being in control of whether you choose to drink or not. Now, ultimately, I don't really care whether you guys choose to drink or not. You know, I choose not to. It's not something that I'm interested in doing, but if you choose to do it, that's fine. All the other cue balls. And this is a really powerful kind of frame to come from, and it'll help if you have any sort of other addictions as well. But today we're talking about alcohol, and once you start thinking of yourself as the cause, not the effect, you can really start creating so much more attraction without having to rely on all these toxic vices like alcohol in your life. And it takes some time. It takes some time to condition your brain to really kind of, in many cases, become rewired. You probably have years and years of being the effect and not being the cause, or in this example, being the colored cue balls and not that white, or not the colored pool balls and not the white cue ball. And it could take some time, but once you do this, you'll realize that you don't need to drink to create that feeling. And what's really important is that, you know, if you then do choose to drink, I don't care if you guys drink. I don't anymore. I think I probably had like one beer over in the last like 3 or 4 years. I went up to Cape Cod last summer and I had one beer the entire time I was there. Before that, I don't know how long, years. So that's just what I choose to do. I don't care if you guys drink or not. You just have to come from the frame that you're at the cause and not the effect. And this will translate to all other areas of your life, whether you have any sort of other addictions, vices, and it'll enable you to really have the really great relationships that you want, because you'll be able to go out and dictate the terms, you'll be able to create the experiences and the vibe. And when you do this, not only will you be able to create the life that you want, but you will attract the really high quality people that you also want to surround yourself with into your life. And I use the term all the time, you literally become a human magnet. That term human magnet, I think it was coined by Ross Rosenberg in his book, The Human Magnet. The human magnet in that book is used as a kind of term depicting the narcissist codependent relationship. So it's kind of used in a negative term. I'm using it here, human magnet, in a positive way, right? You're going to attract people, right, based around your vibe, and because you are at the cause, you're going to attract these people, high status or funny or successful or, you know, beautiful or whatever it is, into your life, and because you're in control and you're vibing out. So that's pretty much it. And you know, realize that there's no judgment here. There's no right or wrong if you want to do alcohol, drink alcohol. I don't give a flying hoot. But once you realize that you're at the cause, whether you choose to or not, you're going to have a much better time and just be much happier. So wrapping up, chilling, going to read some more. It's cold out here. I like being in the cold, man. I like it. I usually don't even have a coat on or gloves. I have my gloves on today, but it's great. It feels refreshing, and that way when I get home, you can see face is all red. But when I get home, then I can get nice and warm and appreciate that even more. Right? It's all about the contrast in your life. I think too many people try to just be like, oh, all fuzzy and cozy, all fuzzy and warm and soft, and it's like, okay, when you go out in the cold, then when you do have that, it's going to make it so much better. So remember that too, just as a little side note. Be the cause, not the effect, and have contrast in your life. Talk to you guys very soon. Love you all. I'm out.